This news webcast is brought to you by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association in the UK. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the first edition of Amia News, where we will be presenting the events and activities that have been taking place in the United Kingdom by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association. We can only present a fraction of the activities that have been happening in the last couple of days or weeks, but we hope you enjoy the show today. Let's go straight over to our headlines. Ahmadiyya Muslim youth volunteer to build water wells in Africa. Amia speaks on International Human Rights Day for our Ahmadi Muslim brothers persecuted in Pakistan. Amia plants 64,000 trees in 1 year. Amia holds local youth conventions across the country. And the latest sports news. Who tops the IFL League this month? So our main news tonight. Sub-Saharan Africa is one of the most poverty-stricken areas in the world. We're going to see in this special report today how our youth are trying to make a difference in this continent by building water wells.
I went to the Congo basically to work for Water for Life project. We started with the rehabilitation of the existing pumps, and with those rehabilitation, a lot of local communities, they are getting benefit from this scheme. Meaning, for example, if we manage to rehabilitate one hand pump in remote areas of any country of the Africa, that will help about 500 to 1500 people. Main motive behind that was to help the poor peoples and to help the human being. So it was a great trip, and it's not the first time I've been to Africa. I've been to Mali, Uganda, Tanzania and Kenya before.
At the end of the year 2013, Amia planted 64,000 trees around the UK, with a planned 100,000 trees this year to be planted.
Islam places great emphasis on taking care of the environment and particularly on the planting of trees. This is why recently more than 400 volunteers from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Association have joined together with volunteers from across Hertfordshire to plant 15,000 of them at Hartwood Forest in Sandridge.
In order to worship God, and if we truly love God, then anything associated with Him as in His creation, then that we must also love. And the environment being part of His creation is, gives us a great opportunity to express our love for God by taking care of it, and as well as other human beings and other animals. All of this is extremely important to demonstrate our worship of God.
Continuing with the theme of serving humanity, Amia have been busy over the last couple of weeks, donating blood, cleaning the streets, feeding the homeless, and many other activities. Furthermore, as it was the new year, scores of youth across the country were up early cleaning up the streets on New Year's Day. Finally, in our Serving the Humanity theme, Amia presented a cheque of £12,000 to the charity MKA Don's SET. The Amia proceeds of this donation will go towards the SET inclusion program that works with people with disabilities, people from black and minority ethnic communities, and people at risk. Moving on to the annual youth gatherings that the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association holds every year across the country. We're going to be joined by Dr. Aziz Hafiz, who is the chairman of this annual gathering this year, and he's going to tell us a bit more about what's called the Ijtima. Assalamu alaikum, Chairman Sahab.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
What is the purpose of the Ijtima?
Their purpose is to bring together the youth of the community and getting them involved in varying academic activities, sporting activities, engendering a sense of brotherhood amongst them all. And these are great opportunities to bring them together across the whole country.
There's going to be around 90 Ijtimas held across the country with thousands of youth attending. What events and activities will the youth be going up to?
Public speaking competitions, there are quizzes on general knowledge, religious knowledge, there are varying games such as Chinese whispers, trying to test people's memory and observation skills. then on the other side you've got the whole variety of sporting events, from football to cricket to athletics, and they vary depending on the facilities available at each local branch.
Finally, Chairman Saab, what is the theme of the Ijtima this year?
I mean, the theme of the Ijtima goes back to the purpose of the Youth Association of Majlis Khidmat-e-Khalq. Like any organisation, it needs a compass and it needs a guide. The compass of Khidmat-e-Khalq is Khilafat-e-Ahmadiyya. So Khilafat is the calibrator of that compass. And looking at what Khalifatul Masih has been advising us over the last year, Sadr Sahib Khidmat-e-Ahmadiyya chose the theme this year to try to inculcate an understanding of the purpose of the advent of the promised Messiah al-Islam, as to why he came and what was his purpose. So in line with that, people throughout their varying branches have looked at varying aspects of that to try to engender a deeper understanding of that message amongst our youth.
Jazakallah, Assalamu alaikum. Moving on to other news. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Students Association, AMSA, has continued its exciting theme of events that they're holding across the country's universities. 2 events were held in the month of December 2013. Why does God permit suffering? At Queen's Mary University of London. And the second one is Ahmadiyya, the Renaissance of Islam, held at UCL. Ibrahim Ikhlaf Saab was the speaker at this event. Let's now head over to our sports correspondent for all the latest football news and results.
Assalamu alaikum. Khidmat-e-Ahmadiyya are in the process of the IFL football competition. This is taking place in the north and in the south. The top teams from the league competitions will take part in a knockout competition. The first round of the south competitions have just finished, and the results are as follows. Hounslow South versus Morden finished 0-0, but Hounslow South went through 3-2 on penalties. Amia versus Surbiton finished 3-1 to Amia. Worcester Park versus South Malden finished 2-0 to Worcester Park. Hounslow North versus New Malden finished 3-1 to Hounslow North. Redbridge North versus Tooting Beck finished 2-1 to Redbridge North. Mosque versus Lower Morden finished 6-1 to Mosque. Inner Park versus Epsom and Newell finished 4-0 to Inner Park. And finally, Purley gave Peckham and South East a real beating, Man City style, winning 9-0. According to the Qadam poll, the favourites of winning the competition is Jamia. You can catch up with the latest results and participate in the poll using the link here.
Thank you for joining us on the very first edition of Amia News. Remember, this channel is your channel. If you have any interesting news, please, all it takes is a HD smartphone, and you too can send in your news to us at news@khudam.org.uk. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.